Hey, what is going on, everybody? And in today's video, we're going to be doing a bit of a raid orb opening for Sharon Carter. We're also going to be going over some math when it comes to the actual percentages for the raid orb and how many raid orbs you would have to open and how many raid credits that you would actually need to spend to get a good chance at getting a certain goal for her. Also, whether or not it's actually worth waiting for the raid store or not, depending on how many raid credits you have. I know a lot of people do have quite a lot of raid credits typically saved up. You know, I know for my main account I have about 200,000 or so. My partner's account actually has like 500,000 raid credits for some reason. But you know, so different people will have different varieties of raid credits saved up. So I want to go over that, what the chances are, depending on how far away you guys are for getting Sharon Carter up to 5-star, if that's what you're looking to do for Omega Red's event coming up soon. And we're going to have another video probably tomorrow more specifically about farming for Omega Red with the time that we have left, including the double days and farming for characters such as Cap Sam and even Maria Hill in the War Store as well. So sit back, relax, and let's get this party started. So first off, I did pull off this very small spreadsheet here to talk about Sharon Carter in the raid store and what we're going to be doing today. So we're going to start off by going on the top left here, and this is to talk about the pillar situation here with the raid orb. So now there is a total of 20 characters with Sharon Carter in the raid orb, and I guess that makes a very nice percentage because it's 5% across the board for each pillar. Now, we do know that in the left and right pillars, we're getting a total of 2 shards, and in the center it's 5. However, with the 5% odds, that's why you get 0.1, 0.25, and 0.1, giving you a total of 0.45, or almost half a shard per orb. Now, we know that's not possible, because they have to be whole numbers. However, if you're pulling a lot, you know, if you're pulling like 50, 100 orbs, you know, that's the type of kind of outcome that you would get. So, with that in mind, we are going to be pulling about 200 raid orbs today with my partner's account, because my partner's account is about, I think, about 60 Sharon Carter shards shy of 5-star. So that's what we're aiming to get to anyways after today's video. But this is kind of like the math involved for the raid orbs. This is roughly how it should be. So depending on how many shards you're away from missing on Sharon Carter, if you're in a hurry to get her unlocked, and we're going to talk more about the store itself. This is roughly how many raid credits that you're going to need to spend if you want to actually get those on demand now. So if you have a lot of raid credits stored up because you just haven't been spending them, or you just didn't have a reason to really use them, this is kind of about what you're going to need to do for that. So roughly, you get, for every 100 raid orbs, you're going to be spending 90,000 raid credits, and you're likely to get around 45 shards. Now, this could be a little bit more, this could be a little bit less. This is just the average of what you're going to need to spend. Now, every 50 orbs after that is 22.5. Obviously, it's just half of that added on. So 200 raid orbs, which is what we're aiming for in today's video, is going to be about 180,000 raid credits, and I should get around 90 shards, hopefully. Now, we'll see if by the end of this, if I have better luck, if I have worse luck, but this is what you should be getting. And if you really need more than that, you know, if you're just shy of 4, if you're just into 4-star and you need 130 shards to get to 5-star, you know, you're looking at about 270,000 credits. Now, I could have gone on further, but basically, you know, at the end of the day, it's roughly 90,000 credits for 100 orbs, which will get you about 45 shards, or it should do. But keep in mind that that's just an average, and that's not necessarily the case. Now, in terms of the raid store itself, though, so you have to spend 1,400 shards for 1,400 credits for 5 shards for Sharon Carter. In terms of the chances that she's going to appear, so there's 4 different slots in the raid store. So slot number 1 is just going to be a flat 5%. But this is very similar to how the war store works because, you know, they're not always there, right? So every time she hasn't appeared, it's going to be a slightly higher chance that she will appear because you're removing characters from the list. So there's 20 characters. After the first character goes in, then you divide by 19 characters, or 1 divided by 19 instead of 20. You get 5.3%, and then 5.6%, and then 5.9%. for that. So then that gives you a total chance of about 22% adding this all together. So about any time there's a refresh, a store refresh at all, you have roughly just over a 1 in 5, not quite a 1 in 4 odds that Sharon Carter is going to appear in the raid store. So it's not that great. So at the end of the day, you know, you have roughly a 1 in 5 chance to see her per refresh. This is a total of 3 chances per day without using cores. If you core, it will help, but not a lot. So, you know, if you do, say, 50 times 2 or 100 cores, that's 50 twice, because after that it goes into 100 cores in order to refresh the store. You could do this 3 times per day, and that'll be about 300 cores for 6 more attempts. Now, will that help? It might. You might see her once, you might see her twice. You know, that's probably the likely odds that that's going to happen. So that would be an additional 5 to 10 shards, but this is not guaranteed. And at the cost of upwards to 300 cores a day, is this a good use of your cores? Probably not. You know, the raid orb situation, what's interesting about this is really going to depend on how many, you know, what are you getting out of that? For me, I'm probably only getting Kitty Pryde shards and Sharon Carter shards. Everything else is going to be Ultimate's fodder. So in terms of what am I really getting out of that? Your newer accounts are probably going to get more out of this than older accounts will, because all of this is just going to get recycled into Ultimate's fragments for that orb, for everyone else, for a lot of the higher ups anyways. But I just wanted to kind of share this with you guys. Let me know in the comments down below, what are your strategies for this? Are you going to be doing the raid orbs if you need to get to that 5-star? If you're already at 5-star, or depending on what your goal is for Omega Red, I realistically probably wouldn't pull the orbs. I would probably just wait, you know, to farm naturally through the store itself. Don't spend any cores. But if you're in a hurry to get to a certain star level, then this is what's going to happen and what you're going to need to do. Very likely, if you're on demand and you need to get those ASAP, I would just do the raid orbs, but do keep in mind that it's going to be quite expensive. So let's jump on over to our raid orbs. Okay, so my biggest complaint in all of this is actually when you have the raid orbs that you earned through the raid milestones and things like that, you can actually open them 10 at a time, but when it comes to actually spending your raid credits, you can't. So this is going to be a bit of a pain in the ass. We do have about 517,000 raid credits. Now, like I said, this is on my partner's account because that's who needs this these shards the most. My main account already has Sharon Carter a 5-star, and I'm not in a big hurry to get her to 6 or 7 because I'm not getting that for Omega Red. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull the first 30 orbs. We have 29 for free because that's already there. We're going to pull 30, and I'm going to keep track of that, and then we're going to pull 170 more, and then take a look at the end of that and see whether or not we're matching up to what the spreadsheet says in terms of what we should be getting. Okay, so let's get started here. Like I said, so you can open these times 10 when you actually have them sort of in the pillar, and that's what's annoying, because after that, you're not going to be able to, as we'll see. So the first 10 shards... First 10 orbs, rather, we get 4 Sharon Carter shards. Most likely, those are side pillars. They were not in the center. Otherwise, we would have seen a different denomination. We got a 5 there. So 9 Sharon Carter shards after 20. So 13 total after 20 orbs. That's not too bad, I think, so far. Now, we'll open these other 9, and then we'll open up a single, and that'll bring us up to 30. No Sharon Carter shards at all. We are getting some Kitty Pryde shards, though, so that's nice there. We'll open one more, and that'll bring us up to 30. We did not get any Sharon Carter, so after 30 shards so far, what did we get? We got 13 Sharon Carter shards, sorry. So I need to keep track of that. 30 orbs open. So let's do about 20 more, and then we'll check. I'm gonna kind of probably do a fast forward through a lot of this because I can only do it one at a time, so it's not fair for you guys. Okay, so we're now at 50 orbs open. Now let's open up what we got so far here. And we did see Sharon Carter a couple of times, I think twice in the center. We're up to about 25 shards now after 50 orbs open. So let's see. In terms of the actual spreadsheet here, I mean, is that where we should be at? It says about, for every 100 raid orbs here, we should be getting about 45 shards. So we're actually pretty on point in terms of the average. We're not really that much above average at all. So let's continue on for 50 more orbs, and then we'll check in. Okay, so we're at 100 raid orbs opened now, and let's see where we're at. So we did get quite a bit of Kitty Pryde shards. Actually, that's really going to help towards my 7-star, but other than that, it doesn't really make a difference. Sharon Carter, we're at 64 shards. So this is actually a little bit up from what we were at before. So we had 25 Sharon shards after 50 orbs. This is 100 orbs, and let's go back to the spreadsheet. We're actually above average. So now we've gone above average because it says after 100 orbs we should have gotten about 45, and we're at 64. So we're actually very close to where we would have been after 150 raid orbs. So we'll see after 50 more whether or not we're still above average or if we're going to be below. So let's find out. Okay, so here we are at 150 raid orbs. Let's see if we can... We have a lot of Baron Zemo. 100 Baron Zemo. Wow, that's quite a bit. 90 Sharon Carter shards. And actually, as far as other characters are concerned, she's actually the second highest outside of Baron Zemo, which is quite interesting. So we're at a total of 150 orbs opened, and we're at 90 Sharon shards. Let's see. Let's go back to the spreadsheet again. We're actually a fair bit above, so we're 50 orbs ahead because this is what we should have got after 200 raid orbs, which is what our goal is. We have about 50 more raid orbs to open, and we'll see how much further ahead we do get of this goal. So we're currently ahead, which is great, and we're going to open 50 more to see if we continue this or not. Okay, and we're here for the last 5 raid orbs before we get to 200. 3 more after this, and we'll finally see whether or not we're above average, I think we're definitely at least average after this. And 1 more to orb open. I never actually saw Sharon Carter across the board 252 after all of these orbs. I think I did see it with Cyclops, but I don't think I saw it with anyone else. So after 200 raid orbs, we are Baron Zemo 125. Is he still in the lead? I think so, but we're still doing pretty well with Sharon Carter 112. So I want to write that down. 200 orbs, 112 Sharon shards. So that's really important. Let's double back to our spreadsheet. Killmonger caught up actually at 111 here. So Sharon raid store, here we go. So we're actually, yeah, we were about 50 raid orbs ahead because at the end of the day, 112 is very close to this 112 and a half because we can't have a half. So we were about 50 raid orbs ahead, or about 45,000 raid credits ahead of where we should have been in terms of our pulls, which is great. So I had some bit above average luck, and I came away with 112 shards, which is really, really good. Now, obviously, I could have done more because I had a lot more raid credits. But at the end of the day, this is what you're looking at. And I think this is a good idea if you're someone who has a lot of raid credits. Now, if you don't have a lot of raid credits, or you've been spending a lot on other things, whether that be orange gear, purple gear, whatever part of the game you happen to be in, you might not have the luxury to be able to be opening as many raid orbs as I am. If you're a newer account, though, at least you will get some additional shards that'll probably be worthwhile to your account, other than mine and my partner's account, who doesn't really have a lot of characters they need outside of Sharon or Kitty. So do keep that in mind when you are mass opening these orbs. If you're in a hurry, I do recommend the raid orbs over the over coring the store. I don't really recommend this, but obviously if you're trying to just slowly farm Sharon through the raid store, you're going to be looking at maybe 5 shards every 2 days, because it's roughly a 1 in 5 chance. There's 3 store refreshes per day, and roughly that's probably, you should see her once every 2 days, but you're not guaranteed to do that necessarily either. So if you are just short, a little bit of shards, I would just bust open the raid orbs if you can do that. That seems to be the fastest and the easiest way to do so, although easy will depend on how many raid credits you have. So that's the end of this. Let me know what you guys did for your Sharon Carter shards, if you needed to get any additional star ranks for her. What did you end up doing, and what did you and was it good luck or not? As you can see in my raid orbs, we did do really well on Sharon Carter. Baron Zemo was the clear winner here at 125. But I think actually Sharon was second here at 112. Killmonger at 111. And actually, sorry, Yo-Yo at 115. Okay, she pulled ahead of Sharon Carter. So Sharon Carter was third place. But either way, it's a very good spread of shards. And if you are a newer account, you're going to probably need to use not all of them, some of them, maybe half of these characters might be valid. But yeah, that's Sharon Carter in a nutshell, and hopefully you guys will come along the journey tomorrow when we talk about all of the characters in general and how to farm them, and you know, with the time that we have left, and what you can kind of expect in terms of how far behind you are in the farming or not. So until then, stay safe and healthy, and I will see you all later. Boilon signing out.